What is going on, you guys? My name is Curtis with the Seoul Dojo gaming channel, and this is our first impressions review of the Battlefield 6 multiplayer. Yeah, I decided to do just the multiplayer because I believe 90% of you guys are going to pick up the game and you're going to go straight to multiplayer. Yeah, there's a story mode and everything like that. We know exactly how IGN feels about that. Yeah, Battlefield 6 multiplayer or Battlefield 6 all in a bundle. What do I think about it? This is a return to form for Battlefield. When you look at Battlefield 5, look at the mess that EA and DICE ended up going through. The gameplay was bad at launch. The PR leading up to the official launch was really bad. It was not a good time for the series, unfortunately. Battlefield 6 is just a return to form for EA and Battlefield Studios. Now, Battlefield Studios is made up of a multitude of different studios put together. So it's DICE, Criterion Games, Ripple Effect Studios, and Motive Studios. So of course, DICE we know from previous Battlefield games, Criterion who do the Need for Speed games, and I think they do, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they do the F1 games. Ripple Effect, don't know much about them, but EA Motive has done the recent remake of Dead Space. So there's a lot of talent there that's been hands-on with the brand new Battlefield 6 that we have now in front of us. To be honest, I think this is a Battlefield game that everybody wanted. Everybody wanted a boots on the ground, objective based, slower, more tactical, very destructive Battlefield game, and I think we finally got it. Let me start off with the presentation. If you just look at the game on the screen, it absolutely looks great. I think the Frostbite engine, it was built up for Battlefield basically, or Battlefield was basically built up for the Frostbite engine, so that's why it's a match made in heaven between the two. The lighting, the smoothness of the game, the smoothness of the shooting, just everything about the game. When you're in New York City, it just looks really good how some of the light like peeks out onto the street, and some buildings kind of obstruct that light. It looks absolutely great. I will talk a little bit more about like FPS and things like that, but when it comes to like overall destruction, I think this game is top tier. Of course, in Battlefield 4 we had that, but this is taking it to that extra level. When you look at some of the destruction, walls absolutely collapsing in different ways. You have I literally had a moment where a helicopter flew right into a tank and exploded and just shook my screen like crazy, and it's all in real time, really smooth. The moment-to-moment gameplay is just fire. It's really good. This is exactly the Battlefield game we wanted. Gameplay wise, like I said before, this is an objective base. It's a little bit slower. It's not Call of Duty where you're just flying around with jetpacks and running around on walls and stuff like that. This is war here, all out war, boots on the ground. Let's go for it. So gameplay wise, you have your different classes. That's what's really different with Battlefield compared to Call of Duty. Now you have the support class, the recon, the engineer, the assault. I mainly play as support. I think a lot of people play as support. You know, support class I feel like is a very underrated class, but also it's a very underappreciated at times too. But yeah, support class, there's so many things with the support class. You can revive fallen teammates, you can resupply them, you can actually make fortified walls. There's so much that's in that class by itself, and every class has its own variety of different effects and abilities and things like that, but they all work together at the end of the day to make a really good gameplay. One thing I can say about the shooting mechanics in Battlefield 6 is that it's responsive, tight, smooth. If you're a good shooter, that is going to be shown in the game. You can definitely tell a good shooter from a very mediocre shooter, and sometimes it really does make that little bit of difference. Even though the game isn't necessarily mainly about getting kills in a lot of the modes, it's not really about that. It's more about playing the objective, helping your teammates out, but you can definitely see the difference in a good shooter versus a bad shooter. In terms of how you level up and get more guns, it's the same way in past games. You kind of level up, you get more experience, then you unlock more guns and things like that. It's and of course, like, it's very class based, so the game kind of reminds you, hey, this is for this class, this gun is for this class, this ability is for this class, and you try to stay, the best thing to do is try to stay within that. So if you're a medic or a support class, you don't really want to carry around a frag. You want to be more about smoke, grenades, and things like that. So the game definitely leads you towards that, but you can also modify your weapons, modify your arsenal to suit your playstyle. All right, let's talk about modes within the multiplayer mode. So Conquest is back, of course. Conquest is that classic Battlefield experience. If you want the true Battlefield experience, go to Conquest. Your playing the objective. It's loads of people. It's a massive map. There's so many different things going on. This is where Battlefield is just truly one of the best shooters to me, and I'm so glad it's back. It's amazing. Of course it was going to be back, but I love playing this mode, and it's great in Battlefield 6. You have escalation, which is a new style of game. It puts you in a fight where you have to go play objectives, but in phases, which unlocks more vehicles and it shrinks the battlefield. You have games like Lockdown and Alteration, which are more close quarters and smaller maps, but I just don't feel like you get the full Battlefield experience with these types of play types. Of course, like Lockdown, it's more objective based, but Alteration is like really more just deathmatch, and I feel like you don't get the real experience with this game. To me, the experience just isn't the same if you were playing something like Conquest or Breakthrough, which another mode I'll talk about. Breakthrough is it's attack versus defense. You basically attack through a series of sectors while the defenders hold you off. It is very fun, very Battlefield-like, and I really enjoy a lot of the modes that they have. Again, Conquest is the way to go if you are either new or returning. All right, so let me talk a little bit about negatives, because I did talk really well about Battlefield 6 for a while. I think there is a bit of an FPS issue, especially on PlayStation 5, when a lot of things are going on. Now, not when there's just a lot of things, but when there's loads of things going on, the PlayStation 5 can't really handle it as much, especially when there's loads of destruction and explosions. There's a little bit of fizziness you get there. I haven't really had an issue of like choppiness when it's getting really bad, but yeah, there's a little bit of frameage drop there. I'm having trouble kind of getting in and out of games at times too, so that's kind of an issue, but I'm pretty sure these things are going to be ironed out. They're very small. This game launched in a pretty good state, and I think the beta helped a lot with that, because the beta had these issues too, but they're kind of mitigated now in the full launch of the game. So yeah, those are kind of my main gripes. It's just more performance when it comes to such a large scale game like Battlefield 6. Now, should you buy, wait for a sale, or skip Battlefield 6? I know this is more about the multiplayer, but I just think the multiplayer takes up so much of the game and more people are going to be playing it that I'm kind of just basing it off of that. Sometimes I go in between. I'm like in between the buy and the sell, and I'm kind of in between that with this. If you can wait the 2 months, because we are in October, if you can wait 2 months to buy this game, then I say, you know what, kind of wait for a sell. There's other games coming out. Ghost of Yote's out now. There's a lot of great games out right now. You can wait 2 months. There's going to be a sale. Get it right there and then, because it's going to be a great game to have for the holidays. I don't know, when I think about Battlefield, I think about the holidays, because it always comes out during this time. But if you are a big Battlefield fan, you got to get it. You have to get it. I'm sorry, you have to get it. Why don't you have it already? I know I'm a little bit late with this review, but you got to get it. This is Battlefield back to form, back to where it should be. And I'm so glad, because we needed this. If you look at what Call of Duty's doing, it just looks weird. I saw the recent trailer. It looks bad. It just looks almost Fortnite-y. It's getting to that point. Battlefield is taking it real, all-out war. Boots on the ground. It is so fun. I'm so glad I got to play it, and it's back to form for Battlefield 6. So yeah, my name is Curtis with the Seoul Dojo Gaming channel, and you can follow me on X at Cali from the Dojo, and make sure you guys subscribe to the Seoul Dojo Gaming channel, and I'll check you guys later. All right, peace.